Have you ever wondered why people approach you so easily, even without knowing you deeply? Why they seek you out? Why they tell you their problems without you asking, as if something in you offers them an invisible refuge? Maybe you've noticed that after talking to you, people feel calmer, lighter, as if they've released a weight they didn't even know they were carrying. And you, without doing anything obvious, simply by listening or just being there, gave them relief. And what about those emotions that come to you out of nowhere? A lump in your throat that you don't understand, a sadness that appears right after being with someone, or sudden exhaustion after a meeting or visit. You feel things that aren't yours, emotions floating in the air that your body somehow absorbs as if they were part of you. That's not a coincidence. It's not fragility. It's spiritual sensitivity. It's the first sign of a gift that goes beyond what's visible. Have people told you that your gaze is different, that your voice calms, that your presence brings peace? They've told you this without knowing why, and maybe you humbly took it as a simple compliment, not suspecting there's a deeper truth in those words. Dolores Cannon, hypnotherapist and visionary of the soul, expressed it clearly. Many healers live without knowing they are until something within them awakens. And then everything makes sense. Today might be that moment for you. In this message, we'll reveal 10 spiritual signs that clearly indicate you are a spiritual healer. And the 10th, the most subtle, is also the most powerful, an almost invisible sign, yet infallible in those who came to this world with a mission to heal with their energy, with their awareness, with their soul. If something in you is already beginning to stir, if your chest flutters without apparent reason, if there's an emotion you can't name, listen closely. This isn't just more content. It's a revelation, one your soul has been waiting to hear. Because true awakening doesn't happen outside. It happens when something inside resonates with a forgotten truth. If this message touches something within you, if you've already felt, lived, or intuited any of this, write it down, declare it, acknowledge it. Write in the comments, "Yes, I'm ready," because what you're about to remember could change your life. One of the first signs that you are a spiritual healer has to do with what you feel, and with what you can't avoid feeling. If you've noticed that being near others brings you emotions that don't belong to you, sadness, anxiety, anger, or even overwhelming joy without apparent reason, it's very likely you are acting as an emotional mirror. And this is no coincidence. It's a subtle ability held by those whose soul was designed to heal. Your body isn't just a biological organism. It's a highly sensitive receptor, an energetic radar that detects what others can't express in words. Dolores Cannon spoke of this as the sensitive vehicle of lightworkers. Based on her experience with thousands of patients in deep hypnotic regressions, true healers come into this life with a more open, receptive, finely tuned energy field. That means you don't just perceive your inner world, you also absorb what happens around you. That's why you often feel overwhelmed without clear reason. You can walk into a room and feel something's off. You can look at someone and, without a single word, sense their suffering, falling apart inside, even if they appear to smile. And without thinking too much, you offer support, calm, company, because something in you reacts to that imbalance. You don't do it because you were taught. You do it because you feel it. It's a spiritual, automatic response. If this gift is not understood, it can become a burden. You might spend years thinking you're too sensitive, that things affect you more than they should, that the world weighs too heavily on you. But when you awaken and remember who you are, you realize what you thought was a flaw is actually your most powerful instrument of healing. Because only those who feel deeply can authentically accompany others in their healing. You are an emotional mirror because your soul chose that form of service so you can see in others what they don't, so you can touch their wounds without words, so you can radiate relief simply by existing. Dolores Cannon said true healers don't come to change the world with great speeches, but with their frequency, their vibration, their mere presence. And if this resonates with you, then you are closer to remembering who you are than you think. Looking back, something becomes clear. Since childhood, you felt a special attraction to the invisible, while others focused on the superficial, the immediate, the material. You were drawn to the subtle, the unseen, but felt. Maybe you were captivated by plants, animals, healing hands, stories about souls, or the mysteries of the universe. You didn't know exactly what you were looking for, but something inside told you there was more, much more. You didn't call it healing. In fact, you might not have even known that word. But you felt inclined to help, to see the soul in people, to ask questions others avoided, to offer comfort without being asked. There was an inner compass in you, constantly pointing toward others' well-being. You didn't seek recognition. You didn't do it out of obligation. You did it because something inside you asked for it strongly. Dolores Cannon said many souls come into this life with an internal program of service, a spiritual memory that, even if dormant at first, starts to manifest. That memory pushes you to learn about energy, emotions, how to help without hurting, how to accompany without controlling, how to give without draining yourself. Maybe you felt drawn to alternative medicine, nature, ancestral rituals, or spiritual therapies. That's not a coincidence. It's your soul remembering its purpose. That silent search, that thirst to understand the depth of the human being, it's one of the clearest signs you were born to heal. You don't need titles or external approval. Your wisdom comes from much further back. It's possible you've been a healer in other lives, and that now you're simply returning to the path. So even if you do something else, even if life took you on other roads, there's always a part of you looking back toward the light, the soul, the sacred. Do you identify with these signs? Then write it in the comments. Say, I am remembering, or simply share what you felt. Because when one recognizes their path, others are encouraged to awaken too. And that simple gesture could be the beginning of a profound transformation. There's an energy in you that isn't easily explained, but it's felt. It's subtle. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't seek attention. Yet when you're present, everything changes. Have you noticed people feel calmer around you? That they open up to you, even if they barely know you? That they cry, confess, or find clarity after talking with you, even when you said almost nothing? What's happening is your mere presence is healing. You don't need to use complex words or spiritual formulas. Your gaze, your silence, your way of listening is already medicine for many. Your vibration creates a field of peace that allows others to release what they've been carrying silently. Maybe you didn't know, but every time someone says, I don't know why, but I feel better with you, that's a direct sign of your spiritual gift. Dolores Cannon affirmed that spiritual healers are not always aware of their impact. Some walk through life thinking they're just kind people or good listeners, when in reality, they're doing deep, energetic work. You transform without imposing. You accompany without absorbing. You radiate without demanding. Your energy acts like a silent medicine that harmonizes the space. No grand gestures needed. That is a true gift of the soul. Many seek you out when in crisis. Others, without knowing why, just feel better near you. Your frequency changes the vibration of spaces, calms tensions, organizes the invisible, and even if it's not said aloud, your energy lingers long after you've gone. That's one of the clearest signs that you're not here just to live. You're here to elevate, to intervene directly. It's enough just to be there, because true healers, as Dolores Cannon explained, are not always aware of the reach of their energy, but their mark remains and is felt. Think for a moment. How many times have you been in the right place at the right time for someone who needed it? How many times has someone looked for you without knowing why? How many times were you a light without realizing it? That silent manifestation of the gift, healing without imposing, helping without interfering, transforming without seeking recognition. The awakened healer leaves a subtle but powerful mark on people. It's a mark that can't be seen, but it is remembered. Maybe someone who was with you years ago still remembers you as the person who helped them at a crucial moment, even though you never said it in words. Because the deepest things are not transmitted through speech, they are transmitted through the soul. If you've lived this, if you know you've been a source of relief for others even when you were broken, then it's time to recognize your spiritual power. It's not about being perfect or having life figured out. It's about allowing your light, that light that doesn't go out even when the world gets dark, to keep doing its silent work. Because you don't need to be seen to heal. Your energy is already fulfilling its mission. There's something you've carried inside for a long time. You can't explain it with exact words, but you feel it as a silent certainty. It's a constant sensation, like an inner voice whispering that you came to this life with a mission, that you're not here by chance, that there's something important you must do, something only you can accomplish. You might not yet know what it is or how to carry it out, but what you feel is so strong, so deep, so real, that ignoring it has become impossible. This calling doesn't come from the mind, it comes from the soul. Dolores Cannon called it the activation of the soul contract. According to her research, many souls agree before incarnating on a specific mission that will be activated at the right moment, when they are ready to remember who they are. And when that moment comes, nothing is ever the same again. Because everything lived, sensitivity, loneliness, unconditional love, inexplicable pain, suddenly makes sense. You realize that your story wasn't a mistake. It was preparation. You are here for something greater than what you've been led to believe. That something isn't always loud or spectacular. Many times it's invisible, silent, intimate. It can manifest in a transformative conversation, an act of kindness, a word that awakens hope, or the ability to hold space for others in their pain. It doesn't matter how. It matters that you feel the call and answer with an awakened heart. And if you've made it this far, if all these signs have resonated with you, if you've seen yourself reflected in this story, then don't doubt anymore. Your soul has already awakened. You're already feeling it. You're already living it. Don't ignore that inner voice asking you to serve, to help, to heal, to expand. If these signs have resonated with you, it's time to acknowledge it. Share this message. Others need to remember their gift. Your path can inspire the awakening of many other souls, because when one healer activates, their light ignites others. If you've reached this point, it's not by chance. You didn't get lost on this path, nor did you arrive at this message by mistake. What you're experiencing now is not confusion. It's a memory. It's your soul's memory awakening, because you're not lost. You're remembering. You're returning to the point of origin where it all began, to that inner place where you knew without any doubt that you came to this world with a clear purpose to heal with your presence, with your energy, with your love. Everything you felt throughout your life, sensitivity, connection with the invisible, the urge to help, the loneliness, the dreams, the inexplicable emotions are not accidents. They are traces, signs, fragments of the plan your soul designed long before you were born. And now, those pieces are beginning to come together. And as they unite, they reveal something you can no longer ignore. Your energy is not a mistake. It's a gift the world needs now more than ever. Maybe for years you doubted yourself. Maybe you thought you were too sensitive, or that you didn't fit in, that you felt too much, that you gave too much. But today, you know that all of that is part of your spiritual design. Because true healers don't come to fit in. They come to elevate. They don't come to follow the noise of the world. They come to listen to the whisper of the soul. So if anything in all this touched your heart, if you felt a deep truth awakening in you, don't suppress it. Recognize it. Declare it. Open your path with awareness, with humility, with purpose. Write in the comments, "I was born to heal." If this message resonated with you, you're in the right place at the right time. Subscribe and share this light with the world. Because when one soul remembers its power, many others begin to awaken too.